Welcome to Two Gents, where two seasoned gents take on the hard truths of life, success, and responsibility. In a world where the rules don't bend for us, these gents believe in doing the work, owning the struggle, and inspiring others to take action. So, pull up a chair.
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you at. We want to greet you with everything that we got. Welcome to the Two Gents podcast, and tonight it's the Two Gents, and the Mike has some preacher duties to do. He has some real preacher duties to do. So we're it's Two Gents in the mic today. So I just want to say thanks for coming, thanks for enjoying us. It looked like something's going on our Facebook page, so I'm not even gonna worry about it. We're gonna go ahead and go for it. It looks like they're having a problem out there. I can barely see Byron Glass because they're showing me that it's a problem. I put this on a long time ago. So anyway, Byron, how's your day going, bro?
Pretty good, Mr. Spikes. Pretty good. Just kind of long, but nevertheless, here to fulfill this volunteer duty and do as best we can to enlighten and inform.
Yeah, today is going to be a touchy subject as we get into it, and I want y'all to see it behind me. I'm gonna try to do that more often because sometimes we don't cover what the show's about, and we don't have it displayed well enough for everybody to see it. And it says why our vote gets decided before we even vote. And Glass, you done told me over the years so many things that's going on behind the scenes, and I think back when you used to tell us about the different things that go on behind the scenes and voting and different stuff like that. I think back and I say to myself, I said, man, this is what Glass was talking about. Now that I'm sitting out here doing the research, digging into it and everything, now I'm like, Glass was saying this 10 years ago. He said, Ron said, you just don't know what's going on. He used to tell me that all the time. And I would just look at him.
Yes, sir.
So
Mr.
BG, thanks for informing me 10 years ago, and now I'm putting it to practice, and I see where we at.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the same. It would be different if it was 10 years ago and we got to now, and it's not the same. It's something out there that's still going on.
Yeah, it's more obvious now. It's it's hidden behind the scene. But I've also said lately that nothing is normal. There's no more norm. So whatever happens should be expected to happen, especially relative to voting, dilution of voting, and disenfranchising individuals voting. So what we got to do is what we've always talked about, which is we got to beat people at their own game.
I guess we do.
Here in the state, man, in this upcoming election, which I hadn't decided yet. I think my deadline may be April 15th. I think since I'm an independent, no party. If I want to vote, I have to either register as a temporary Dem or a temporary Republican, just to vote. And whoever I vote for in the primary and the general, I got to vote with the same party. I don't like that. I want to vote for whoever I want to vote for.
And Glass, they started playing those games here in Texas too, because they have once you register as a Democrat, you stuck as a Democrat. Once you register as a Republican, you stuck as a Republican. It ain't nothing else that you can do. They don't come out and put you in a position where you have the option anymore. They basically just take you and put you in that tight position, and that's it. You don't. It ain't no changing, especially in primaries.
Here's the deal, Spikes. Let's bring it closer to home. Let's take you, Pastor Riggins, and myself, and one of us are running for office. Two of us are running for office, and one Dem and one is Republican, but you want to vote for both of us. Well, the way it is now, you won't be able to do that because whatever party you register for, if that person's a Dem, you got to vote Dem. If that person's Republican, you got to vote Republican. So that means if you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, or register as a Democrat, I can't vote for you. Again, it's all about control.
Byron, as I heard you say that, I want you to remember these pictures that I'm about to bring up. It seems like I can just go back and pick pictures from our past shows and just bring them up because it seems like they're just recycling. That's all we're doing. Nothing has changed. We're just recycling them. And here's Melanie Salisbury. Black Vote Matters. Her and her two sons standing on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And we know what happened there. We know what happened there. And we still seem like we haven't got past it. It's something that I don't know if we're gonna get past the glass, but if they treating our vote like we don't like we're they know that we're gonna go vote for one thing. But they act like they can just roll our vote in like in that cigar that you're smoking and play it when they want to play it. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's precisely what's taking place again, Ron. If your mom or dad, hypothetically, if they were two separate individuals, and one was running for a school board and the other was running for a county seat, and they both were different parties, it's a problem.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Carlton. Carlton, I'm glad you got a chance to listen in. I know what you're going through, and you just stay on as long as you need to, man. Go ahead and get that physical therapy because that's the only way you're going to recover. I just want to say hi to Carlton. He's one of our listeners out there, Byron. And then I see you, Pup. I see you. Carlton. Yeah, so we would like to acknowledge our comments. Pup is a little bit closer to home. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. But I'm under the weather today, Glass, if you can't tell. But it just seems like they sacrifice us at all expense, Glass. Whatever we're doing, they sacrifice us.
And we've allowed it. At one point, they were, but now, Ron, with modern day technology, the advancement of people, the literacy rate of people, the educational level of people, the background of people. Some of this, it's our fault because we steady and continue to allow it to happen. You're having a conversation with a couple of guys yesterday. It appears that anytime we are in control, it seems like it doesn't work out. So it's like we're saying we can't do it ourselves. We have to give it to somebody else.
When we can't do it ourselves and we have to give it to somebody else, and I you know me, I don't want to go down something that we didn't repeat it, but I'm gonna have to go down here to get the point across. When Tallarica won, they wasn't. This is something that they wasn't saying. They told you directly they didn't need your vote for him to win. But you know what they come back and do, and it was a YouTuber on. I wish I knew this lady's name. Her name was Weber or something like that. I tried to invite her onto the podcast, but she made some dynamic points. She say, you want to ride us down the road or something like that, and then you want to bring us back whenever you want us to come back in and support your candidate and tell us that we don't have a choice.
Because we've been used to that.
Yeah, but you don't, and we go along with it.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Even remember the party leaders. Look at what happened when Barack ran, when Clinton went down to South Carolina. Look what they did. I mean, they felt like since they had been so devoted that you can go down and just convince people that now you owe us. You got a qualified person that look like you. That don't matter. You owe us. It don't work that way.
And it's almost like when they ask for money for donations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. In our state, you say in your state they ask for Republicans, but in our state, as a Republican, as a Democrat, man, they send you this email like they've been knowing you for a while. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, but
I'm getting another lozenge, but
after the election run, you don't hear from them.
No, you don't hear from them. But before the election, and this person made a good point of it. She say they showing up in your churches, just trying to get time.
Which again, Ron, we have control over that, but we steady allow ourselves to be manipulated. My thing is, you can come and visit all day long, but you're not getting up in front of the pulpit. You're not getting up and making no statement now, because I'm going to prevent you from doing that because you're coming to worship. Okay, if you want to greet after the fact, that's fine. But if you're doing the service, you're not going to get up and do anything. We're going to acknowledge visitors, just like has always taken place. So I kind of don't subscribe to that when my pastor, if he were, I don't know, to allow something like that to happen. Sit down, enjoy the service, shake hands, and get up out of there.
I would take it one step further. You know, at the back of the church, they had that little area at the back. You can go back there in that little area when people on the way out the door and shake their hands and say, "Hey, I'm so and so," and I just would like to get your vote. But for you to come in there and get on that pulpit, we just basically ruined that building because now it went from a place of worship and a place of respect to nothingness out there. And that's and this lady named this YouTuber. I wish I would have got her whole name, but her last name is Weber, if I'm right. And she looked like she have a little bit more knowledge than I do about doing this media thing, because she lays in her bed and make her commentary from her bed, and she does a good job of it. And everything she says is just about what we talk about over here. But I just want to tell you this, that as you start going out there and you start putting your vote and they're asking you for your vote, so you need to. They need to earn something. They need to give you something in return for your vote. It doesn't seem like we're getting, as a black community, we just give our vote away. They know that we're going to go to the polls and vote. They know that that's what we're going to do. So they know that we're going to sit, we're going to have to go to the polls because that's the only way that we can express ourselves. And that's the only way that we have a voice. And as they do that, they basically manipulating everything that we do. And at the end of it, I don't know. And I'm not telling people what to do. We never tell people what to do and how to go about doing your vote and what counts and what don't count. But at this particular point in time, we need to ask that question, because they just think they got a slam dunk come midterms. And Glass, we already expressed why that is. It needs to be like that in midterms.
They believe that, Ron. They believe that they can continue to do what they've been done because the people that are sitting at the table are not having a voice at the table. So you're just really a mannequin that's sitting there. For me, and you know what I've always done, I believe that if it's 10 people there and I'm one of the 10, well, there's 9 other opinions other than mine. So, but at least it's going to be 10 opinions there. It's not going to be 10 people sitting there, but only 9 opinions being given. And that's one of the problems that we face, because we don't have no voices. Everybody's willing to, I'm not going to say sell out, but compromise or give in when you just need to push just a little bit further. But at the end of the day, dynamics, things have changed, man. And again, if you don't do something in November of 2026, what we now know as normal is all over with.
And Glass, you've been saying that. Pastor Reagan's been saying, put the pedal to the metal and don't let up on the gas. And we've been trying to tell you that we need to change the Democratic vote. We need to have at least a stopgap in the Senate and the House. We need to put that stopgap in place to control this man. But how can you? And Glass, this is why I ask myself. They play you so much. You see them playing in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing that you can really do, because the other side is so, they don't care what that man do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what he does. But they want to come over here and they know that they got a voting group of people, black people that combine. They let them come into their house of worship. They let them do everything that they want to do. Sometimes, and I heard up in North Texas, this is what the lady got mad about, because some pastor was begging James Tallarico to come preach a sermon in his church. What are you gonna preach about? What denomination are you? That's the reason why I say churches have become religions. They not. It ain't about that man that's hanging up there on that cross.
Right. That's the fact. That's what we're dealing with. We are so used to allowing ourselves to be compromised to where not being compromised is not even recognizable.
I want to ask you a hard question, Glass.
Go ahead.
I got to ask you a hard question. So they see and I'm gonna ask it like this. So they see a white man that's up there, and they see a black man that's in office. Which one do you think they see that has the most confidence from a black person's perspective, based on what you know?
Well, based on history and based on fear, trust, and envy, it's always we'll put our trust in somebody else other than the person that, really look like you relates to you or something thereof. It's like, now this is not in all cases, and this is not in all people.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'll put it this way: one is too many to be manipulated. So I'll make it simple, but I'll make it complete. One person being manipulated is too much. Everybody's got a mind. Everybody's got a voice. Everybody got ears. Everybody got eyes. So you see what you see. Reality is what you see, not what you want to be. So if you see somebody for the previous 3.5 years, you ain't never seen before, they ain't never come to your church, they ain't never spoke to you in the neighborhood, they ain't never spoke to you on a public event, you ain't seen them nowhere other than at that job, and then 2 months before that job is up again and they come, it's plain to see, Ron.
Glass, here in Houston, me and Pastor Riggins talk about this all the time. The only time I ever see them get snookered, as a matter of fact, the only time I ever seen them get snookered was when they did that. They thought they were smart. They played that chess game. They wanted all Republicans and they wanted all Democrats. The only thing that you could do is either vote Democrat or Republican. Well, what happened when that happened was that they got a bunch of black judges they had never seen. They voted out a lot of incumbents that was out there. They got a whole new group of judges. Man, they voted out the county judge. So that just shows you if you're looking at the black vote and you're using the black vote, and if you look at how many people, what a difference we can make at any time, we can do it. We just have to be on the fair playing field. We can do it. Don't let them decide your vote before it actually becomes your time to do it. We can do that because we have to sit down and organize ourselves to a point. I don't even know if we can organize ourselves because from our basic standpoint of being organized, our pastors are selling us out.
Very much.
Yeah, they selling our vote out before we ever. At one time, when our mothers and fathers was out there, when they see, I'm gonna bring this up because I need to put this out here so you can see it. When our mothers and fathers seen Malcolm like this, and Martin like this, and they knew that they was erect the day before, they knew what they was voting for. They knew what they was fighting for. But it's like if we don't see an image like this, it's like we're gone. It don't even matter.
Well, see, Ron, the problem is we seeing images like that every day of our people doing that to us.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
And it just, have we got sanitized to it?
Basically, yes.
We just buried Jesse not too long ago. I mean,
and he didn't get the due diligence that he deserved.
He didn't. No, by no means did he get that.
Yeah.
So we're pulling on the same thing that our mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers pulled on, but we just are not motivating our kids enough to get out and vote and participate. And I don't know if that it's not. It's a disconnect there because they see how the mothers and fathers' votes are being manipulated. And then it's another side to that glass. I'm going to get to it. I haven't got to it yet, so I'm going to kind of let you comment on what I just say, and I'm going to get to the other side of it.
No, I think it's very much in line and appropriate. The facts do matter, and I think Alexander O'Neal in one of his songs said, "A lie is not the truth, even if you believe it." You know, so Ron, we know that the sun rises and set in the east, rise in the east and set in the west. We know that, but somehow this cartoon character that's there now, people think the sun and the moon, sun rises and set according to what he says. But again, we have to do what we have not done, which is learn to take the emotions out and deal with facts, deal with constructive criticism. No, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not doing what you said you were going to do. Okay. And because I'm telling you that, it does not mean that I dislike you. It does not mean that I don't respect you. It doesn't mean that I don't support you. However, if I do like you, respect and support you, that's exactly what I'm supposed to do, which is come and tell you what you're not doing.
Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to accept it because you voted into that position.
Right.
That's you are a representative of all the people that voted when you got elected into that office. That's the reason why you're there. You know, I'm gonna do this while Glass is gone because I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I say this on every podcast that I'm on, even the ones that I do by myself. You have to do what they do. They throw out numbers and they want to tell you what's right and what's wrong, and they want to do all kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. They ain't that smart. They just reading from a teleprompter. That's all they doing. They getting them the information, they putting it out. So I'm gonna put out some information too, and I'm gonna make sure y'all get it. It's been a quiet shift from choice to choreography. The black vote has been used I'm sorry. They lost our trust. They never shared in our struggle, but they came to our churches and they got up and they got our vote. They got our vote because we gave it to them. They didn't earn it. We just gave it to them because we saw them speaking in the house of worship, and we gave away all that responsibility. Now it's treated like a stage production. Here's a candidate. Here's a candidate. We build for you. I'm the candidate that's here. I'm showing up. I'm here. You got to vote for me. Your pastor said I'm the greatest thing since mom's apple pie, but he forgot to tell you about them few dollars that he stuffed in my pocket at the end. You know, he stuffed a few dollars in my pocket that didn't make it to the offering plate, but he's gonna let him speak. I'm just telling you, it's been done for years where they go up there and they put some offering in the pastor's pocket. I know that's a pastor not here, so he can't defend it, but I'm sure you would say the same thing. But
now, Ron, I think you and I can defend it. We're not speaking in absolute terms. We're not saying that everybody do that.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is that too many people do it. Too many people allow themselves to be taken advantage of, and too many people become political opportunists. Because if you're getting a significant donation to your church, some people may say, well, why shouldn't we take the money? Well, here's the deal. If the intentions behind that donation are false, why would you do it?
Another thing I'm gonna add to that, Glass, is this: if his intentions, if he or whoever the representative is, intentions were for the good of the church, that donation should show up every Sunday after then, right? I'm just gonna put it out there. Glass has to go in and out because he has other things that he's doing in the background. So I understand what's going on. So y'all, what I'm saying is, if he's gonna bring a donation into the church one Sunday and he wants all of y'all to benefit from it, well, next Sunday that same size donation should show up, even though he's not there. That's benefiting the church. Am I right? I'm just asking a question, Glad. Can you hear me? You probably can't hear me. I see him moving around. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Here's an influencer we paid to talk to you. No groundwork, no community presence, no listening. He ain't listening to nothing that's going on in church. He ain't listening to no complaints from nobody. He don't even take any questions from anybody that's there. But he shows up and he gets the pulpit. He shows up and he gets your pulpit in your church. You should be asking some questions about them, because your pulpit is supposed to be sacred ground. Somebody that you voted into that office to go up there and speak, not just go up there and say, hey, I'm a congressman, I'm a local representative. You should have a podium off to the side or something and say, hey, you can go speak over there. Or like I say, you can go out to the foyer, if there's a foyer at your church, and greet people on the way out. But you're not taking, no. People come here today for service. And Glass must have had something that's going on in the background. So we're gonna continue to move. Don't think that I'm just here. We can continue to move, The second part of that thing that I want to get into tonight while we here, and we're gonna go through this whole thing because you need to know why your vote is being manipulated. What's going on out there when you out there just going letting people take over your pulpit? You know, I forgot what I wish Pastor was here because he saves me on this, but you know, Jesus went into the church and turned over tables and everything. He didn't hesitate to say that this ain't the place to do that. And some people just forget it. They forget what Jesus did. Then the other part about it is that in order to get to your church, they have to build this foundation with other people. Don't think they just show up on Sunday. They done built that foundation with other people, and I'm gonna apologize. And I knew that I was gonna have that eventually I was gonna get here. So I'm gonna try to get through this. And if you got any questions, you welcome to call in. If you want to make any comments out there in the comments, you're welcome to come. Welcome to do that. But I knew I was under the weather today, and when I went out to see take my grandson to the doctor today, and he got a good bill of health, so I was good to go. I see glasses back, so I'm still here. Y'all just bear with me. But you know, it's machinery, and I'm gonna say this: it's machinery behind the curtain as to how this guy gets to your churches. It's machinery behind it. When I say machinery, it's those packs.
It's orchestrated. It's well intended. Yeah. It's intentional.
Yeah. They know how many members you probably got in your church before they even show up. Oh well. They know how many of y'all gonna be persuaded before you show up. Before you show up.
Ron, that may be jokingly stated, but nowadays they already know this information, which is why the party that's out there now is trying to get all of this data so they can. It's just like mainstream media. What distort the message and divide the people. The goal is to control the message, control the narrative, control every aspect of the political spectrum. That way, the person with the most control and the most balance, they are the ones that become successful.
I'm gonna take y'all down this path because I got to take you down here so you can understand. And your boy out of Louisiana tried to clean it up and say, "Oh no, it was about black voters not showing up." It wasn't about black voters not showing up. It was about that guy. Right? Yeah, it was about that guy named Chuck. I can't think of what Chuck's last name is, but he showed up that next day. And he told you what it was about. He said, we didn't try to pursue your votes, but what he did was he went down to those little bitty towns where maybe wasn't that many people and they wasn't used to getting that recognition across Texas and down south, Brownsville, those little bitty counties out there. And he put Tallarico's name out there because they didn't know Tallarico's name from Austin. So yes, Tallarico showed up. I think I even saw a label with I hope I can get it up with a beer label with Tallarico's name on it. So I'm just saying they strategize and decide which black neighborhoods they're gonna get attention, and then they play with your vote like it ain't nothing. Then when it comes time for the vote, it's like here's your candidate, you vote for him. And I like to tie things back to life. When you go out to vote for Tallarico, remember they had to build him up to Jasmine Crockett's level to even give him a chance to be in the race with Jasmine Crockett. That means that you got your hand. If you look at a legal scale, it's a lady standing up there, and she normally holding her hands up with two scales on one scale on this side and balancing it out. It's called a legal scale, and that means they got their hands on the side that they want to be on already. They got their thumb holding down one side. So the candidate that actually should have won never has a chance to go in. I don't think that's politics no more, Glass. I think that's gatekeeping.
Well, Ron, think about it. Now, we've asked this question before. The man that's in office and the previous men that have been in office, they all had the same power, right?
So I just had a conversation with somebody, one of our loyal listeners.
Reason why I'm bringing this up because I had the same conversation with some guys in the lounge. Just a casual conversation. I asked them, okay, when Barack was in office, he had the House, the Senate, and the White House. So if he had the House, the Senate, and the White House, why could they not have done the same thing that this party is doing now with regards to voting rights, with regards to gerrymandered drawn districts? See, again, you got to realize that not you, but in general, when something happens, it's already been in place long before it happens. We just catch the tail end of it. Classic example, I've been involved in situations where they'll go and talk to the key allies of the area. Once they get the key allies to buy into whatever it is that their needs are, everything else started rolling down. Them dots started being connected. And once them dots connected, then at the end of the day, when the smoke clear and the dust settle, boom, it's too late. It's done already happened.
And we never, that's the part of we never see, but that's the part of it that they hide away, and they say, you know what? I think I need Pastor Black to meet Pastor Red.
Exactly.
And I need Pastor Green to go tell him that I need Pastor Black and Red to come together. And then we're gonna make this show. We know they're gonna give it to us. They ain't gonna turn us down.
In simplistic terms, here's what they say. Here's what we are gonna do for you. So they make it become selfish. Because I'm getting something out of it that's going to actually benefit me directly, no matter what's going to happen on this end over here to the people.
You know, I hate to say this, Glass, but you know, I'm gonna do this because we tell the truth over here. It's no different, and some people ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, but it's no different than what they do to you in your church. It's no different than what they do to you in your church. If you're in a church and they need something, what do? They set up an extra table out there to collect money on and tell you that it's for something else. Hey, we need this extra money because we got this going on. But that's done right in your face. They knew that they needed that extra money 2 months ago for what was coming up. But they had to get a big enough audience that they knew they could collect from. I'm just saying. Think about it. When they make that manipulation in the church, look at it and say, hey, wait a minute, I didn't come here for this.
Most of the
time, here for a sermon.
Most of the time, it's the older individual that's on fixed income that have dedicated their life to giving that 10%. It's manipulation.
And when somebody can stand up in the church, and I ain't calling no names, and say, Ursha, shut down the doors. It's a possibility all of y'all going to hell after then. Because that's not what Christ never, anytime that you believe in Christianity, that's not what Christianity is about. You think about this man walked around in sandals and robes. Sandals and robes. He never had a car. He transported himself on a mule, not a horse, a mule. So when you say shut down the doors, that's Christ-like. I don't know if I'm speaking the truth. I'm not a minister or anything. Glass, I'm not a minister, so tell me if I'm wrong or right.
Well, Ron, I'm not either, but common sense is common sense. It's clear what he did and what he didn't do. We know who he fellowshiped with. We know what his work was about. We know the things that, in red that say, if you do this, I'll do that. So we don't need somebody to come in and dictate or change the words or add to or take away. We already know. Again, reality is what you see. And we know that if you're going around manipulating the poor, that's not the work of Christ. We know that if you're going around robbing and stealing from the poor, we know that that's not what he done. We know if you're not feeding the hungry, if you're not giving water to the thirsty, visiting the rent, we already know that.
And you say how this ties into what the topic is tonight?
Exactly.
It's just showing you how you're being manipulated all across the board. And some people will say it, some people won't say it because they want to be a part of that manipulation that's going on.
It's a personal gain for them.
Personal and gain. As we go ahead, Glass.
No, I was just going to say it's a personal gain. You know, them old school Warriors run, they were about elevating everybody, not just themselves, because they knew power is in numbers, not in solidarity. Something that's singular.
You know, I grew up in my godfather. We went to a church that he helped found it right there in Cashmere Gardens. This church is still standing today, but that was just they took it from a house glass to a medium sized church. But you know who came on weekends and Saturdays? Church members came up there and volunteered. Now my godfather knew how to, how to build buildings. That was his forte. They told him what he wanted to do. He told them he told them, well, this is what we need. We get the wood. We're gonna go ahead and start building it. They went out and got the permits and everything, and they started building it, Glass, with just the brothers in the church. Not no company that they had to go out and get a engineering contract. What do they call it? Or you pay for them to tell you how much it's gonna cost to do the church. They went out and they bought the woods, the nails, and everything, started putting it together, and they raised enough money within the church. Now, if they put out an extra table for the building fund and you see the work going on in the church and the brothers are doing it, that's what it's about. They put out an extra table for something and you don't see the money no more. If they put out an extra table and they talking about a playground for the kids and it never shows up, they put out an extra table for the daycare that's going to help somebody, and the daycare never shows up. Well, we had to use that money for this, or we had to do this. We had to shift that money around. No, and I'm going to get off of that because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. That's not what this show is about. But it's about people that can manipulate you, manipulate your vote, and manipulate you at times when you're most vulnerable in your church, and we allow them to do it.
So, Ron, what do you say to the young post millennial that feels or believes that his vote does not matter?
If you and I'm gonna break it, you Glass, you know me, I can get this to the point. If you're a young millennial, as we say, you haven't been to church in a while, and you decide to go to church on a particular Sunday, and you're sitting down there because you might have came there to get the word, the message, you want to hear what the pastor had to say. And before the pastor even get up to say anything, here's this person that don't look like us up there in the pulpit, and you looking and you looking up there and you saying, that's not what I came here for. What are you doing up there? As a millennial, I'm confused. I'm confused. Would you be confused, Glass? I'm just asking.
Yes, sir.
And then instead of the pastor getting his full amount of time, he got to basically take whatever's left from this guy. Now, if I'm lying, you tell me I'm lying. If I accept it, but that's what I see going on.
It's modern
you can
day.
Look at the news. And sometimes the guy didn't even call a news conference, depending on how big an audience it is. He didn't call the media out there.
Yeah.
I'm speaking at this church. But you got a millennial that's coming there to, probably get the word from God. He trusting that his pastor. He trusting that the deacon board. He trusting that the sisters. He's trusting that everybody is in alignment. But it's a big lie when he gets there. So he don't come back for a while.
So, to tie it all in, manipulation is in all aspects, especially when it comes to voting, because you manipulate to win. You manipulate the weak-minded to get them to cross over to what your message is. So again, manipulation is the what do you call it? Is the thesis of what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it goes on behind the voting scenes, and it just happens. The only reason why I'm putting the church into this discussion, I want to be very clear. It's something that shouldn't happen.
Should not.
It's something that shouldn't happen within our community. I don't know how we allow it to sneak in on the back door, back porch, or whatever. It's something that shouldn't happen within our community. Our pastor, if that member, if that particular person wants somebody to say something to our congregation, our pastor has every right to get up there and say, you know, I got a chance to hold a conversation with such and such, and I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it, and we're gonna move on from there. We're gonna move on to God's word. But to give a person an audience within that church, you basically have just, it's not a church anymore. I wish I had my picture up. It ain't a church no more.
Well, the message is definitely not clear.
No, not.
It's been distorted.
It's gone, Glass.
It's distorted.
As a matter of fact, the moral line in that church is gone. How you go back? And we got to get these younger voters involved, but we got to start cleaning up our own acts, some of the stuff that we allow going on too. Yeah. Because it's people that sacrifice their life for where we at.
Ultimately,
it's people that still sacrificing their life. They're getting older. You know that you knew that Jesse wasn't going forever and ever. And those of you who think, golly, I can't, Glass, I'm getting messed up. The professional, I call him professional fume preacher, because they call him every time that he's up there. He's on the NBC, on the MSNBC. Al Sharpton, he's up in age. He used to be a young one of the bunch. He's not that particularly young no more. Mm-hmm. So just like Jesse rolled down that aisle, eventually he's going to roll down that aisle.
Yep, sooner rather than later.
So I'm just saying, who's out there that we can that's going to take this message to another level, and where are we getting our ability to understand what's going on? If it's based on what we're seeing now, because I'm gonna say it, these younger people out there, it's about what you can do for me here and now. You don't believe me? Look at how quick what's the name shifted over to Trump. Nicki Minaj and all our black athletes and all the rest of them, they was all behind Trump. You remember, Glass? I'm not sitting here just talking off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the whole point. That's what we're saying. It's manipulation.
Yeah, it's a lot of manipulation going on. Glass, I want to go somewhere else because.
Go ahead.
You know, and Glass, I want to explain. I think I explained it to the audience before. You know, we look at these people, and they do the same thing that we're doing right now. And when they do that, you think they're the smartest person in the world. They be calling off the numbers. They be looking like they're coming off the top of their head, and you say, "Oh man, how that guy's got to know what he's talking about." You don't know no more than you do. You have a teleprompter in front of him, and those numbers are right there, and you think that he's the greatest speaker since Mom's Apple Pie and Chevrolet.
Unlike you and I.
Unlike you and I just use it. I use it on my end just to keep the show moving, so we get through the whole show. And I'm not trying to say that I'm not better than them, but I'm telling you what I'm doing behind the scene. Well, I have stuff that I put up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Ron. It's not about better. It's about having a conviction and a moral compass to just put the truth out there and let people decide whatever way they want to. Again, nobody's going to never. Unless it's by error, to tell you who and how to vote for. We'll tell you who we voted for and why we voted for. Okay, and with clear and convincing, statements. But at the end of the day, the goal is just to provide another voice of the many voices that's out there. If you like it, that's fine. If you don't like it, that's fine. But the point is that there's some relevance to what goes on each and every Tuesday night at 7:00 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, nobody's getting marketing money. Nobody's getting advertising. Nobody's getting a check that comes in the mail. Nobody's getting nothing. This is strictly and purely volunteer. So if we can't talk about the things that we know, we have seen that's important to what's going on in society, because mainstream media talks about it every day. But people go where the ratings are at, but the ratings are sometimes dictated by those who are in control. The only control we have right here is ourselves. Okay, we don't have no million followings, in which I wouldn't want a million people to be following, because I mean, everybody should be able to make up their mind, but you got to give them something to make up their mind with.
You got to put the information out there, Glass, as we say so many times. Put it out there and let people make a decision on what they hear, what they see, and you can't manipulate their vote. You can't tell them what to do. And one of the things that you definitely can't do is call them out of their names because they don't do exactly what you want them to do.
Well, here's something that's even a little bit more simplified. What we can tell you is that the way you used to vote a year ago is not the same anymore. So since it's not the same, only thing we can do is tell you what the now is, okay, and what you can do to get prepared for the now. If you don't do that, the charge is not on you and I or on us. It's on them, because we've done what we were told to do, which is to enlighten you and inform you. We can tell you that if you are a registered, if you're a non-party affiliate, now you have to make a decision as to what particular party you want to vote for. Otherwise, you can't vote.
Mm-hmm. And Glass, here's the other thing, and I don't do this because I don't want to do this, but I have to say this. Sometimes when you're able to get those people in front of you, you can't let them have all the control, and it's your show. What you have to do is ask them the hard questions. And that's the thing about the podcasters that I see out there. Some of the podcasters that I see out there right now, they got access to those people. They get them on their shows. They sit them down in chairs. They doing exactly what me and Byron doing right now. But what's the use of getting them on their shows if they control your show and you can't ask them a hard question?
Oh yeah, Ron, but they do it for the ratings, because you're gonna have to send them a list of questions, and then they're gonna have to prove that list of questions. And then when they come on, based off of what they've agreed on, you have already boxed yourself into a corner to where you can't ask what I want to hear. You're gonna ask what they want us to hear. No. So what's the use in it?
And what purpose does that serve for an average voter? Because the average voter have questions that they want. They want to know how their gas, light, and food how their bills gonna change. When how it's gonna affect them. So you can continue listening to those podcasters, and I'm not saying don't listen to them, but I'm just saying their bills are paid. They got them high numbers for a reason, because they got enough equipment behind them. They got enough people behind them. And here's the other part about this podcast and those little small podcasts that y'all look over. A lot of us do this live. We don't go back and edit and clean up because somebody catches us in the live what we're doing. We don't go back and change the tape. This tape gonna be the same tomorrow as it is today.
Yes, sir.
Because people go out there and I'm gonna break it down to you, so because this is a part of the manipulation about your vote. See, they'll go out there and they'll make a podcast. Too many people call them out on it. You go out there and you try to find that same part of the podcast to tell other people about what they said. They'll change that podcast to something else. By the time you get it, you're saying, well, what happened? Well, what's going to happen is they change the name of it. They embedded it somewhere else where you can't find it because it showed them up. It made them look like they didn't know what they was talking about. And you can't find it because they ain't gonna let you prove them wrong, because they got to satisfy more than they self. They got bills that they gotta pay. And I'm gonna take it down because this is at the point where we're at. I'm gonna break it down to you a little bit further. They manipulate you too on those podcasts because they sit that candidate down and they know that they already got access to them. But if you look anywhere on that podcast, they're asking you to donate money to them because they done did you a favor. They got that little Q code up there and everything. And they don't tell you that they're getting paid from YouTube and every platform that they own. And then they want extra money from you. They don't tell you that. So your vote is being manipulated on a podcast, and they ain't even asking hard questions. And you asking them, why don't you ask the question? Hell, they can look in the comments
Well, Ron,
and ask some of the questions out of the comments, but they don't do that. You know why? Because they want that politician to come back, and they looking for the next big politician to come on their show. And if they act the wrong way to this one politician, you know what's gonna happen? Ain't nobody gonna come on their show. But at that point, you gotta be, hey, I'm here.
But Ron,
I got here on my own.
Well, the resume speaks for itself. All you got to do is go back 10, 12, 15 years ago, before Shannon Sharp, before Roland Martin, before Tavis Smile and all those guys. We had Waco 4-State Trail Ride. We had Blog Talk Radio. We had the Smoking Glass Hour. We had a full week of streaming shows that were doing live podcasts long before it was even popular. Okay. And then we took a detour. Okay. And decided to come back. And even then, 10, 15 years ago, 2009, 10, 11, whatever year it was, nobody never took a nickel or a dime. Nobody's taken a nickel or a dime. And I can tell you, for me in my house, me and my mouth, I would never do something where somebody else is coming in and controlling what I'm saying and what I can't say. It's just not going to happen. Because I feel
and that's
like
not, we ain't never been about that. Like you say, Glass, we was on 7 days a week.
Yeah,
and I was on all of them just about. So if we wasn't supporting one another, we was doing stuff in the right way. And our long lost, I have to say this because he was on 7 days a week too. He tried to run his own radio station. He was known more in Jamaica than he was in the United States at one time when he started his radio show. And that's our own Donnie Walker. I got to put it out there because he was known more in Jamaica than he was in the United States. And he was doing, and he picked up this political message and he ran with it. When Sandra Bland was out there, Donnie Walker was making trips with Sheila Jackson Lee in the car. Dr. Shirley McKellar, knocking doors. I went down to Prairie View, Glass. I remember standing in Prairie View, and they wouldn't even let them on the campus of Prairie View during that time. Mm-hmm. Sandra Bland.
Yeah, and Ron,
that's why I say
the same thing we were talking about back then. It became more and more relevant, and people are talking about it now. Now, we're not patting the backs of self. But what we are saying is that the resume is there. It speaks for itself. There's longevity that has taken place. Again, there's nothing more valuable than going in and having an opportunity to speak loud, bold, and clear. This is who I support. This is who I'm going to vote for in my own privacy between the curtains. Mm-hmm. And if you don't accept that responsibility, then everything that people who came before us did, it's all in vain. It's null and void. It's useless. And what bothers me the most is when I see people, no matter who it is, saying that their vote don't count. Well, if your vote don't count, why are you putting your daughter in a cheerleader pageant? Why are you putting your daughter in cheerleader? Why are you putting your son on a football or basketball team? They count to see who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. Voting is just a broader perspective with regards to what happens when you cast your vote for a person of your choice.
And you know what? And Glass, I want to say this because I continue to hang out with a gentleman by the name of Scotty. I wish I knew his name, but he comes on the radio all the time. And when we were doing Blog Talk Radio, they had a black talk radio network that was stretched across the USA. They did it, and their faces was never shown, but they were so strong on Blog Talk Radio that they had followings all over the US. And every time that they came on, it was like on the first and the beginning. So all this stuff talking about putting together a black talk network and all the rest of that, they had it back then. And people was able to call into the show. They would talk to them. They did all of that stuff. And since we tying lines together, this was when Roland was still on networks.
Control.
This was when Roland was still on networks. He hadn't even started putting his stuff together. And the only reason why I'm using his name is that I'm trying to share with you how far technology has came.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're able to do right now is the same stuff. If we was able to do it back then, if we would continue from the point that we were, and we said this early on when we started back, and the only reason why we came back probably was because we need to change this midterm election.
Yeah, it's a must.
That was our
Yep.
dug deep in our heart. And if you know Pastor Riggins, Glass, I'll let you tell them about Pastor Riggins while I mute my mic, so they don't have to hear what I'm about to do.
Hey, Ron, he's passionate. He's got conviction. He's got a moral compass. He believes in his message. He can back up his facts. He's a historian. He can tell you things that Dr. Cornel West can tell you, that Michael Eric Dyson can tell you, that Maya Angelou can tell you. And he's just as simple as you and I, just a regular young man who's been in the ministry for years. He's never, in my opinion, compromised what the pulpit is about, what the message, what the gospel is about, and he's still going on. He's an educator. He's a historian. He's an individual that cares about what he believes, and you can put him on with Stephen A. Smith. You can put him on with Joe Scarborough. You can put him on with anybody, and he can have a conversation, and you're going to learn something from him.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's going to lead in. How much time we got left? I don't want to keep you here, Glass, because I know what you're going through, and I appreciate you making that sacrifice, because I can see what you're doing. So we ain't going. But I got to bring this up, Glass.
Go ahead.
That reminds me of, just because you made it, just because you made it to the other side, so to speak, just because you have access to those people, so to speak, it don't give you the right to put down anybody or call anybody out of their names. And and you knew it was wrong after you did it, and you heard me say it earlier, that they changed the narrative, because this sister had called them out on it. Because what she said was, it wasn't my podcast. What this sister said was, you're wrong, because we don't have access to the same people that you do. Mm-hmm. We don't have them sit down. We don't go play golf with those people. We don't go sit at those fraternity meetings that you sit within. But if we're not doing it, don't put us down, because we're trying to get the same message out that you're trying to get out. And we're not trying to put it out to a certain group of people. We're trying to put it out so all people have access to what they need to have access to. Because if you single out certain groups of people because of the money level that they own, or what you consider their access to people, or anybody that you have sitting with you that's a PhD and above, and you telling everybody else that they ain't about, there's something wrong with that message. Mm-hmm. Because I know where you came from. You came from where we're at right now. And Glass, I remember, and I'm gonna tell you how I know that where they came from, because I remember having a conversation. I can't call no names right now. And when they first started, their goal wasn't to do what they was doing. Their goal was to try to get their numbers up. And it was a group of people that had this little old blog talk radio station. I'm just saying, I ain't talking about stuff off the back of my head, but I know where you came from, and I know what you're trying to access. But don't put yourself in a position where you got classism going on among the blacks. Because your message ain't going to translate down. And if you notice, your numbers might be going down because everyday people thought they had access to you. Mm-hmm. Glass, it's a perfect message. It's a perfect time for us to be pulled together, not pulled apart. Right. Glass, you got a, and I'm gonna say this, I got a green screen behind me, and it looks like I'm somewhere. Glass sitting right there, and all that behind him is real.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I use this green screen, because if you saw what was behind me, you wouldn't know it. But I still recognize where I came from. I don't care who we bring on this show, what degrees they got, and we done had some people, some important people on this show,
Oh,
on these
Rob,
shows of ours.
you know we've interviewed judges, United States senators, people that people that were running for mayor, that were running for representative seats, that were running for local municipalities, that were doing things in the community. So we've rubbed elbows with uh, as many people as most of those other people, but the difference is rubbing an elbow has never changed my heart and my perception and my perspective that no matter how far you go in life, it's your job to bring somebody else up with you, even if they supersede where you at.
Glass, I'm glad you brought that up because that points back to people that's doing the right thing. And I want y'all to understand this. This is not bragging, but we had Dick Gregory on this air, on Blog Talk Radio. He didn't just come in here and control the show. He came in and he said what he had to say, and he acted like a normal person when he was on here. He told us some facts, some things that we some of the things we might have disagreed with, and later on went back and researched and found out they was true.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the idea when you get access to those people, don't take it for granted. Don't think that it's always there, because they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. And the people don't step on people to get up. You can't step on people to get up, because even the people that's up there right now, y'all more worried about who putting out the truth and whose neck longer and who's got the most people in their audience and all the rest of that. And y'all getting paid. Y'all ain't even signing your own paycheck. Well, one person out there is. At whose expense though?
Well, Ron,
It's a number for everybody. Now I'm gonna say this. We need to take this black vote. We need to wrap it up, and it's precious. People done lost their life behind it. It's precious. People done sacrificed stuff. People done lost children's and everything. Just for the opportunity to vote, just to stand behind there. Do you know we had to pay to vote at one time? We had to pay to vote just because our skin was different than somebody else. Don't let your vote be taken away from you. Don't let your vote be sacrificed. We're here because we want you to understand that it's a message out there for everybody. It's a message out there for that person that's standing out there taking your cars to go take them and park them. When you go to those golf courses, it's a message for the guy that's driving around in that car at the ninth hole that meets you there with all the refreshments and everything. It's a message for him. It's a message when you get off that golf court and you go into that clubhouse and that person standing there serving you your food. It's a message for them because they have a ability to vote.
Ron, I'm never gonna work for you if you're treating me right just because of who you think I am, but you're not treating all those other people that's behind me just because you don't know them. We don't compromise. We stand on sound principles, sound doctrine. Again, we don't know no more than nobody else, and we don't know any less than anybody else. However, again, we have a message. We try to enlighten and we try to inform. And if that's going to bring criticism, I'll take that to the grave.
I agree with you. If it's gonna change your reason for voting, and I like to go to different places. Me and Glass used to doing this, so I'm gonna say, just like I told Pastor Riggins, it ain't nothing that's gonna change my vote. By the end of that week, that fool had did something that was just crazy as I don't know what. And everything that I stood for at that particular moment, I would vote for Tallarico.
but
But don't
Ron,
play with my vote.
yeah, but right. See, that's what I'm saying. You still have the same conviction. You just realize that you still can have that conviction and not let the other individual continue to destroy. Because see, we can always deal with Talarico or Joe Scarborough, Byron Donald Douglas, Tim Scott, Clarence Thomas, what's it, Herschel. We can still do whatever. The difference is that you're not willing to sell your soul just because Talarico is the option. Because see, we've been living with struggle all our life, so it's not like we're not used to it. But the question is how do we get out of continuing to struggle? Now, some people may say, well, you're blaming it on this. No, I try to blame it on every aspect. If it's a 10-point plan, I try to blame it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If the merits are there, yes, there are some things that prevent things from happening. There are things that go on behind the scenes that you would never have access to, but you can believe it. You can take it from two gents. When the smoke cleared and the dust settled, we have never compromised our voice being able to enlighten and inform.
And this is, and I support everything the Glass said, because we have never, it didn't matter who we were and how we got out and we talked to people. We have reported the facts. Some of the facts, I can give you another example of what I'm talking about. Flint, Michigan issue hadn't even hit the major news network about how the water was.
Well,
We were actually interviewing people back then, Glass. You remember how that story came out?
Yeah, y'all were in Inkster, Michigan.
Yeah, we had people that Donnie Walker was from Inkster, Michigan, where the stuff actually happened with the bad water.
And
was
Ron,
somewhere else.
You know what? As a result of that, the young man that used to come on, I think he ran for mayor in Inkster.
Yeah, he ran for mayor in Inkster, and then he went. As a matter of fact, he called that night and ran for mayor in Inkster, and then he went on to hold a state position that he was. I don't think he was voted into, but he was.
I think he's got
young.
his doctorate degree now.
I'm not. I don't know. I
think I remember seeing that he was working on his doctorate. He worked on a lot of Malcolm X projects that were out there. You look at Brandon Johnson, who was probably one of the strongest voices that was on Blog Talk.
Oh man,
dead and gone. May his soul rest. But
man,
it came out of this little camp right here. You know, so there's been a lot of positive, and nobody has never taken a wood nickel just to get to where they're at.
Do you remember the lady in Glass? She did a show with me on Sundays. She was homeless, man, and she was.
You're talking about she's on LinkedIn now.
No, she passed away.
Oh,
she
really?
Passed away. Yeah, she passed away. She was homeless. Let me tell you, she wanted to get her word out so bad that she was homeless. And she came on this show and she was let me tell you what she was trying to achieve. And she achieved it. She was a teacher at UCLA. She got a teacher's position at UCLA.
You talking about LaShawn Renique?
No. It wasn't Renique. It wasn't her.
Oh, okay.
I got a picture of her. I just looked at a picture the other day. But she was homeless, and she got the job at UCLA. But you know what she didn't never get a chance to do? She passed away before she worked the first day of it. But she tells the story. I wish I could go back and get the tapes. She tells the story of how she was homeless. She didn't have no place to go, and she was struggling to make it. It's so many stories that I remember. I remember when the guy got beat on the outside of Inkster, and it was a black guy. You remember when he came on the show and he was telling us his story before it made national media? Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff that we did as a whole. We even have, golly, she gonna hate me for this. I'm gonna leave her name as Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo still. And the only reason why I'm using Yo-Yo because I don't want to call her name, because if she don't want to be called out, I'm going to give her respect. But she's still interacting in Detroit, Michigan. And Byron Glass mentioned what's his name? God, I just bring up Malcolm X's house in Inkster, Michigan. A guy by the name of Aaron was he didn't have no way to get the word out about that house. He found out there was Malcolm X's house. And do you know that house from Aaron being part Aaron Sims is his name,
Yeah,
out of Detroit. Aaron took that house and now it's a historical landmark. They can't tear it down. And Aaron, I don't know if he got it restored to this point, but Aaron was a part of that project and he brought it to us and told us about it. And we started just broadcasting about it on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Those little things are, and you wonder how come we get the recognition that we do. We're not going to stay on here that long, but I just want to let you know that you can do stuff too. Those little small podcasts that the ones that's up here putting down, almost like classism, saying, "Oh, y'all ain't about nothing. Y'all don't know what's going to get people out to vote." Well, I guarantee you, it's more of us than it is of you.
Well, Ron,
I guarantee those podcasters that I just talked about, those ladies, it's more of them than it is of you. And that message don't translate. Come on, Byron. Let's get through because
I was backing up what you're saying. What's most important is two things. You had an opportunity to come on this show and state whatever issues that you may have had in your particular area. Number two, you had the opportunity to come on here and agree, disagree, give your side of the story, and you were not muted out unless you got way out of whack. You could talk about issues that were of concern to you. Multiple times we yielded the floor and gave it to whoever was that was on the show. But at the end of the day, the goal has always been, and it still is, and it will always be, for me, is to enlighten and inform.
Mm-hmm. And here's what I'm going to say, Glass, and I'm going to give it right back to you. I want to make sure I get it in this full text. The black vote isn't lost, it's being managed. You're not saying that the black people don't care. You're saying that our vote being prepackaged, and we don't even have we don't give us a chance to explain it. Our choices are being filtered to us. The candidates are coming to us filtered. Our voices are being managed. Our leaders are being selected for us. And the biggest danger when people think they're choosing, but they're really not being guided. I want that to sink in tonight as you listen to this podcast. I don't care where else you hear it. And I don't care what kind of books people got behind you trying to prove how important they are. Throw up a book on the left-hand side with Malcolm X or what's his Malcolm X on there, or let me just put up their pictures so you can see. When you see their books behind you, that don't mean that they didn't read them. They just want to draw your attention to that book. And they got a platform in which they can do it. Big words don't get you nowhere. When you're on that voting booth, as Byron said, it ain't nobody but you and who you choose on that piece of paper. But if they're not letting you get to that piece of paper before you make your choice, there's something wrong. Byron, I'm gonna give it to you, and then we're gonna get out of here.
No, Ron. Again, I think I hone this on to make sure that everybody understands. There's a clear message of enlightening and informing. There's a clear message that we'll ask the tough questions. There's a clear message that no matter what party it is, we have chastised Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, George Bush, the person that's in there now, Joe Biden. When we felt like they were wrong, no matter what party we came from, as a matter of fact, all three of us, two gents and a mic, we chose to step out of a party and develop our own independence. That way, we can decide for the person who we felt like best fit, the trajectory that we felt like they should go down. Again, we've called out Hakeem Jeffries. We've called out Mike Johnson. We've and when we say call out, we've put the questions out there that mainstream media should challenge. But what they do is they allow them to come on, get their message and their narrative out without any pushback. And what I don't understand, and I will never understand, other than the fact that they are controlled, like you stated before, Ron, when you have a reporter that's out there that's asking these questions, and you know a person is lying to you, why don't you challenge them on that lie?
Glass, I'm gonna say this, and you done heard me say this many times. I don't challenge. I'm not out here trying to challenge how your church is ran. I'm not out here trying to tell you how to run your church. But here's what I will tell you. It's always a sidewalk leading up to the front door of that church somewhere. If you walk to the end of that sidewalk and you look to your left and you look to your right, if the church is the only yard that's cut on that block, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Something is wrong if you have somebody within that community that you're talking about that is in specific need of something, and because they don't come to church, you refuse to give them that need. Something is wrong. Something is wrong when you know that voter apathy exists within your community, and you're doing nothing to utilize to draw those people in, to tell them, hey, look, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I'm telling you why voting is important, why you shouldn't allow your vote to be manipulated. Go and fact find for yourself. Ron, you can ask a question right now. Who was the 15th president? And you can go right there and ask Mr. Google in a matter of 2 or 3 seconds. They'll tell you all about that person. So the knowledge that we have been afraid to get, Ron, because you don't even have to search for it now. It's there. You can everybody that I know on this planet, that I know personally, they got a smartphone. And that smartphone has the ability, even if it's a government phone, that smartphone has the ability to bring you as much knowledge as you will ever need with regards to why you should vote, why you should select your candidates, and why you should dig deep. And don't just listen to MSNBC, Fox News, CNBC, NBC, CBS. Look at a collection of narratives that's out there, and then start to looking at what you see and make your own conclusion. And if you do
I'm
that,
gonna say this. I'm doing like a Baptist minister now because I want to get out of here, but a couple of points that I need to make. What Glass just said, I support, because my grandson tell me all the time, Granddad, that might not be true. Let me Google it right quick. He'll get his cell phone and Google it and say, Granddad, no, they say this on Google. And I say, and I'm defending myself. And I said, well, I can't defend myself no more because he telling me the truth. And when somebody tells you the truth, you have to accept where you at, because these kids living on a different level. We didn't have Google. We had to get Webster, go on that shelf, pull that Webster off of there and dig through it, turn the pages and all the rest of it, or get to an encyclopedia, look at the pictures and go from there. But they don't have to do that. They got that technology right in front of them. That's the reason why you can't lie to them.
And what's most important, Ryan, based on what you're saying, and I'm going to ask you this. How old is your grandson? That's the point.
He's just turned 9.
Which is my point exactly. Education starts at home.
Man, you know, my other grandson's gonna kick me out of being their grandfather. I got a grandson. His name is Jackson. Jackson wanted to go to Rice University right here in Houston. His grades are good enough to get him in Rice and Georgia Tech. You know when you start doing that? I see him wearing shirts where his father brings him down here and he takes him to Rice University. I'm sure he didn't took him to Georgia Tech and all the rest of that. But you have to inspire that. And I used to wonder where they get their inspiration from early. My grandson Carter, the same way, man. You have to, these kids, you want your kids to grow up better than you. But you have to let your kids see life for themselves and make their own decisions.
Yeah. Well, what
And
I did,
everybody's not going to college. I
yeah.
understand that. We sold the generation up the river by doing that. We
Well,
sold the generation up the river, and we're gonna have a show about that one day, Glass. And I know you can come on there
yeah.
and
But
help
you
me
know
out
what,
on that
Ron?
one.
What I did in 1999, the 2020, the 2000 election, every night for weeks, days, I didn't leave the television figuratively. But while I was sitting there looking at all of this history being made, I made sure that my oldest daughter paid attention to everything that was going on. Why? Because this is going to be in your textbooks. The textbook can change the context of what really happened. I want you to know what happened.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the voting aspect with the context that you have behind you, everything that has been said tonight, Ron, is 100% fitted. And see, the good thing about us, Ron, we start here, but we end up, because we expand as the time go on, because there's always multiple things that you can talk about. And when you're trying to enlighten and inform, you don't just stay on one topic. I believe that there's room to fluctuate, to advance and contrast. It's you have to be able to be multifaceted. And again, nobody is claiming any check. Nobody's claiming any payroll. All we're claiming is our volunteer time where we have invested, we have sacrificed to make sure that each and every Monday night that two gents and a mic come on with a topic that we may feel relevant. And Ron, here's the deal. We've also allowed guests to determine what the topic is going to be for the next
Mm-hmm.
week. So we've been 100% inclusive. We've been 100% making sure that we don't exclude any voice that's out there, any topic of any discussion. We've tried to dive in and talk about it. Again, nobody's anti anything relative to conversation. Now, what we
Mm-hmm.
are anti and what we don't tolerate is racism, discriminatory practices, prejudice toward an individual person. We believe that everybody should have the right within the context of what the laws are to be able to move and shake. But there are some things that we absolutely disagree on, and there are some things that we still vehemently disagree with what one of the current presidents enacted relative to things that has caused some of this stuff that's taking place now.
Joe, Byron, I just had to bring this up.
Excuse me.
Look at my screen.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't watch ourselves, if we're not careful enough, we're heading back this direction.
Hey, Ron, no, we're not headed back. We're already there. It just hadn't been fully implemented.
So while y'all out there playing games and trying to class up people in their vote and all the rest of that, just remember, we can get back there. And trust me, they winding up throwing the pitch right now. I want to close out with this, Byron. I'm gonna give you the last word, and then we're gonna get out of here.
I'm good.
The black vote is powerful. That's why they try to manage us. But power doesn't disappear; it gets redirected. And if we don't reclaim the right to choose for ourselves, then somebody else will keep choosing for us. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. Glass is not either. Pastor Riggins is not either. I'm here to tell you to wake up. Ask questions. Demand. I got to get this right because it's strong. It's just strong. Demand groundwork and stop letting people hand you a candidate like it's a pre-wrapped gift. You deserve better. We deserve better. And the truth deserves a microphone. And I'm gonna let you close this out, Byron.
Well, Ron, I'm gonna be simple. I'll close it out like this. Started pre 2024 election. I said it then, and I always close with it now. If you don't get out and vote in the November 2026 election, and change what we now have as the normal, what you have always considered to be normal, the benefits that your forefathers have fought for, they will no longer exist. And the things that they fought for you to have the privileges and the freedom to be able to move around, they will no longer exist. So get up, get out, and go vote. Do your homework, do your exercise. Exercise meaning massage the mind, listen to various opinions, various commentary. But at the end of the day, don't take my word, don't take Mr. Spike's word, don't take Pastor Reagan's word. Learn to discern for yourself.
And the only way that we're going to continue to grow in this thing, and I'm moving my chair to the wrong side. You see that black man over my left shoulder? That's the person that we got to get out the vote. That's the person that we got to get out the vote. I'm gonna take this one comment and then we're gonna actually get out of here. Hey, how you doing? Glad you out there listening tonight. Glad to see you out there. It's nice to see you. We want to say hi to you. So anyway, that's who we saving this vote for. Your kids, my kids. And if we can't let anybody steer us in the wrong direction on any of this.
Hey, Ron, just before we go, if the guests got any comment that they like to give a depiction of or give a description of something that that's dear to their heart that they feel like needs to be done, if they're listening, if they will please type that in so we can read it, and that may be something that can guide us into the next week's show. Now, of course, Ron does shows on a daily basis. All you got to do, if you choose, if you're willing to give the opportunity and a chance for another voice, subscribe to Two Gents and a Mic, share it with other people. We're not forcing you to. We're not saying that everything we say you should agree with. But what we are saying is that there are multiple voices that are out there. We just happen to be one of those multiple voices.
And trust me, we're glad that you tuned in, and I'm glad that you're a part of our network. And we remember when you made your first comment, and we take that all in. So I'm gonna tell you, if you just want the honest truth, no fluff. I told Glass this the other day. I think I told Glass the other day, no fluff. We're gonna be your person. If you want all that fluff, it's other station, other medias out there. Glass give me a sign, and when Glass gives a sign. What is Glass?
Hey, Ron, you know, on the smoking gun, I used to, and I wish we could here, but I don't think we can. I always believed then, and I believe this now. Every time I hear this particular a song, it always takes me back to my mama telling me the things that they went through, and on her last breath, I promised her that I can't go through what you went through because I know what freedom is like. Sam Cooke, a change is going to come. I wish we could do it, but I understand that the way the context is set up, you can't play somebody else's music for copyright purposes or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you go and listen to Sam Cooke, a change is going to come. If that don't motivate you to go out and consider voting for a candidate of your choice, it's going to be all over December of this year.
Never give in. Never give up. Trust in God. And we're going to say, thank God, thank God, thank God. And we're going to add this, it's like a cut sign to us because Glass has stuff he got to do. We appreciate you, Pastor. We miss you,
man. Great show, Ron.